Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are breaking down one of the most critical conversations of our time, the ethics of artificial intelligence. We're going to get into the incredible potential, the really serious risks, and the global effort to steer this whole thing in the right direction.
So this is really the central question, isn't it? Is AI this incredible tool that's going to solve all our biggest problems, or does it pose a fundamental threat to our way of life? To even begin to answer that, we first need to be really clear about what we're actually talking about.
Okay, so let's dive right in. First things first, we need a solid definition. Because, that term AI gets thrown around a lot.
And this definition from the European Commission is great because it cuts right through the noise. It really just boils down to a few key ideas. A system analyzes its environment, it takes some kind of action, and, this is the important part, it does it with some degree of autonomy. This could be software, like a search engine, or hardware, like a self-driving car. It's also absolutely crucial to get this distinction right. Everything we call AI today is what's known as narrow AI. It's incredibly powerful, but only at one specific task, like playing chess or translating a language, often way better than any human. But it is not the self-aware, human-like general AI you see in sci-fi. That is still a very, very distant research goal. All right, so now that we're on the same page about what AI is, let's get to the exciting part. Why this technology holds such incredible, world-changing potential.
I mean, just look at the scope here. We're not talking about small improvements. We're talking about AI systems that could help us tackle humanity's biggest, most complex challenges. They could speed up scientific discovery, make our economies way more productive, help us manage the planet better, and even improve our daily lives with smarter, more efficient energy grids. The promise is just enormous.
But, and you knew there was a but coming. With all that power comes a whole host of really complex and urgent ethical challenges that we absolutely have to get right.
So let's start with one of the biggest issues right now, bias. And the short answer to this question? Oh yeah, an algorithm can be very unfair.
Just take a look at these real-world examples. In the justice system, a piece of software was twice as likely to wrongly label black defendants as high risk. An AI recruiting tool learned to be biased against women. Now here's the crucial point. Nobody programmed these systems to be racist or sexist. They learned these biases from the mountains of historical data that we, humans, created. They're just reflecting the biases already baked into our society.
And that leads us to another really thorny problem, accountability. When an autonomous system like a self-driving car has to make a split-second, life-or-death choice, who's responsible? Who's on the hook for that decision? The car's owner? The company that made it? The person who wrote the code?
And check this out. This poll data just perfectly illustrates the problem. When you ask people this exact trolley problem question, we are deeply divided. Most people say the car should protect its own passenger, but a huge number of people disagree. They think it should save the pedestrian. So if we can't agree, what are the engineers supposed to program into the machine? There is no easy answer here.
And beyond those life-or-death moments, AI is fundamentally changing our whole relationship with privacy. Think about it. Smart assistants are always listening. Your social media feed can be used to predict your personality. And the whole idea of being anonymous in a crowd, well, that's disappearing fast. With digital records and facial recognition, everything is searchable and profilable.
And finally, there's the huge, just massive economic question. Experts like Martin Ford are warning about a future of major job displacement, where automation gets so advanced that huge chunks of the population could be left without work. This isn't just about efficiency anymore, it's about the very fabric of our society. Okay, so faced with these perils of bias, accountability, privacy, displacement, you might be thinking, what do we do? Well, the global response is really zeroing in on one key idea. We have to build trust.
And the really good news here is that people aren't just sitting around waiting for things to go wrong. All around the world, there is a serious, concerted effort happening right now to build ethical guardrails and frameworks to guide how AI is developed and used.
One of the best examples of this comes from the European Union. They've laid out these 7 essential requirements, you can see them here, for any AI system to be considered trustworthy. And as you can see, it's a really comprehensive, holistic approach, covering everything from human oversight and safety to fairness, transparency, and of course, clear accountability.
Now to really nail that last point, accountability. One of the smartest ideas on the table is actually borrowed from a technology we already trust our lives with,
the black box from the aviation industry.
So here's how it would work. It's pretty simple, really. Just like on an airplane, this ethical black box would securely record all the key data about what an AI system is doing and the decisions it's making. So if something goes terribly wrong, a self-driving car crashes, a medical AI makes a bad call, investigators can go back to the black box and figure out exactly why it happened. This gives us the transparency we need to hold the right people accountable.
So where does this all leave us? What's the path forward?
Well, the point isn't to hit the brakes on technology. Not at all. It's about grabbing the steering wheel and consciously guiding it with our most important human values.
And I think this quote from researcher Jack Stilgo just nails it. It really comes down to intent, right? We have the power to decide what problems we ask AI to solve. Are we just going to use it to maximize profits, maybe making inequality worse? Or could we direct this incredible tool towards our most pressing social needs? The choice is actually up to us. Because in the end, the ethics of AI, it's not really about the machine at all. It's about us. AI is going to be a mirror that reflects our own society, our biases, our priorities, our values. So the real question, the one we all have to answer, is what do we want to see when we look in that mirror? Thank you for joining this explainer.